Do these supernatural photographs move? Is this the clearest photograph of a fae or elf creature ever discovered? This entity type, with various different names depending on region, is described as a creature that interacts with the owner of a home that it enters. The Celts may have called it a house spirit or a brownie, the Norse a hobgoblin or bogart, and many other cultures around Europe have similar or different names. They're even reported in Latin America where they're described as duendes. This photograph was included in a collection held by the Oldrey family of hunters, who claimed it was taken inside of a dungeon called St. George's Keep, run by a secret order within the Catholic Church called the Sons of Man. By this point, I've shown this to thousands of people online, and many have claimed to see movement in the face, particularly the eyes. Watch this video again and let me know if you see any movement. Next, we move to the most disturbing photo in my opinion, the summoned demon. Many have claimed to see movement in this entity's hands and face. I like this photo in particular because you can see the binding sigils used in the dungeon to hold the more supernatural creatures seen on the wall behind it. Does this demon move? And finally, we come to the elder vampire, who several have told me blinks his eyes, snarls his nose, and even moves his fingers. Elders are much more supernatural creatures than their standard vampire counterparts. An essence of them extending into their photo falls right in line with things I've learned about them. What do you see? Which, if any, of these images shown appear to you to be living in some way? Delve yourself into the Oldrey Family Bestiary with a wealth of knowledge on each creature featured. A true abomination of nature, cruelly created by those who twist it. The minotaur, a creature deeply intertwined with the history and mythology of ancient Greece. Those familiar with my videos won't be surprised to hear that my ancestors left detailed writings on these creatures. More than just writings even. For those unfamiliar with my work, I've spent the better part of 2 years documenting the discovery of my ancestors' belongings and writings. They were hunters of supernatural creatures for several generations, working at first for a secret order within the Catholic Church, and later on their own. The Minotaur is just one of the many types of creatures and entities they stood up against. From what I've read, it seems that any other documents about what I'm about to discuss have likely been destroyed. The Sons of Man had a very unique dungeon, supposedly built in secret under the foundations of a now-ruined stone cathedral, where the worstlings on Earth were held prisoner and studied underground. I've been gifted 2 photographs purporting to show the place, but I won't give any indication of where it might be. I'll read and show you Harold Oldrey's full journal passage on the creatures. These creatures are the rarest form of beastmen possibly ever to live. As far as we can deduce, they are not the result of any curse, nor race of unnatural creature, nor truly infernal in nature. Their existence is only known to be the result of dark occult meddling on behalf of ancient spirits once worshipped as gods. The Minotaur, once held in St. George's Keep, once broken enough to accept its captivity, it lost all aggression, became docile, listless, tragic. Their creation is a cruelty. Execution is the only solution. The last that I myself encountered in my sights, I could see only the confused, lost, half-human soul within, thrashing out against a world it could not fit into. Nevertheless, it had already butchered 3 farmhouses, whole families. I gifted it the mercy of a quick exit. Read more about them in the Oldrey Family Bestiary. I want to talk to you about a strange phenomena surrounding many real-world vampires. Do these 2 look familiar to you? I'd wager that they do. Maybe a celebrity, someone you know, someone attractive and with status. Interestingly, everybody gives me different answers. I've been told this looks just like Johnny Depp, Robert Pattinson, Kevin Bacon, even Jim Carrey and Sid Vicious and many others. All famous, traditionally attractive men that would be considered of high quality or regal, as some types of vampires are called. And the same holds true for the women. Here we have Alexandra, who has her own incredible story but is a female vampire. People have claimed it's just a photo of Emma Watson, Demi Moore, Megan Fox, Keira Knightley, even just the character Wednesday Addams. This seems to me to be some strange effect of their kind. We see them as beautiful, regal, powerful people, aiding them in their hunt of us. Who do these two look like to you? They both stand in stark contrast to the much more monstrous versions of their own kind. Primevals, elders, and more. You can find out more about all of them on my page. Do supernatural creatures exist that can't be permanently ended? Beings that will somehow inevitably return from death itself? This truer form of immortality has been the goal of religious and occult rituals going back thousands of years, the ultimate escape from death's icy grip. According to the writings that I've inherited from the monster hunter Harold Oldrey and his descendants, both the Sons of Man Order as well as the Oldrey family of hunters actively monitored multiple individual entities that somehow managed this feat, taking upon themselves the responsibility of maintaining these strange beings' continued demise. While many entities like demons or vampires are immortal in the classic sense, they can be slain under the right circumstances, ending them permanently. However, there are certain specific examples that can somehow circumvent this drawback to a degree, or entirely. The descended or demons that were once human, remade in the image of the high demonic entities they'd worshipped for decades. They stand as a perpetual crossroads between worlds, and it is written that death in one of these worlds does not mean death in the other, allowing them to return to our side after seeming destruction. Though this return is said to take years or more, it was believed possible to end them permanently, though this would apparently require extremely ancient religious or magical ritual. Elders are a deeper, much more supernatural form of vampire, a secondary transformation very few of their kind will ever undergo, taking root in those few after several centuries of unlife. According to the Oldrey writings, there were fewer than 5 confirmed examples. Their more supernatural nature presented itself in strange abilities as well as weaknesses, a need to feed far less frequently than their more standard counterparts, and worst of all, the way that they return from the grave again and again, over decades and centuries, seeming to simply rematerialize in their old haunts. They are, however, said to come back somewhat lesser each time. It is also said that the Fae and Elf kind possess a similar characteristic in various mythologies and folklore throughout Europe, and this does seem to be confirmed by some of what Harold Oldrey wrote of such creatures. He also believed, based on information from a Celtic witch named Bridget, that some of these entities could be the same being expressed in multiple different forms simultaneously, wherein ending the life of one did not do the same for the others. I'll be continuing this list very soon, starting with strange, demon-like animalistic spirits of ancient, unknown origin, and continuing through the 2 most supernaturally imbued humans to ever walk the earth.